Right. We are back, not with the Rational Boomer podcast, but one of those shorter shows, the text shows. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I used to read emails on the show all the time, and then my emails got buried with all kinds of new stuff. I was missing a lot of them, and I felt bad about that. And I had a lot of guests, so I wasn't doing the emails. So I decided I'd give another option, an easier option for you, maybe an easier option for me, so people could ask questions, make comments, what have you. So I set up a app that would allow you to text me questions, comments, what have you. That number is 952-522-1399. 952-522-1399. Now, what I will do is give it at the end of the show here. So if you want to grab a pen or whatever and write it down, you can do that. But feel free to text me. Now, when you do text me, sometimes I may answer you back here on the show, or I may just answer you back in real time, or both. Doesn't matter. I'm not that strict about how I do things. I kind of go with the flow as it happens. But I got a bunch of texts, so I thought I would sit down and read the texts and do what I can to respond to them. So here we go. Now, um, I've always said put your name after you write the text so I can attribute it to somebody. Now, this gentleman seems to be named Mike, similar to my name. Hey, Boomer, I've been a fan since 2024 election and love the content despite how terrible it was for Senate Dems to cave. Do you think it was necessary evil not only put the Epstein files back in the spotlight, but to bother Donnie, but to boost pendulum shift to the left even quicker? Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I think there's something to be said about that. I think there was some sort of strategy involved, whether it was a good strategy or not, I'm not sure. We didn't like that they signed away on the CR bill. Um, but keep in mind, all the stuff with the Epstein files and everything else that's going on that's fucked up about Donald Trump may not have had as much impact if we were still in a shutdown. So, in a weird way, that may have been part of the plan. That said, we still have an issue with healthcare that needs to be addressed sometime before the end of December. And I'm hoping that they will, in fact, do that. Next one says, Hi, Boomer. My name is Pamela, and I was on your live about the school lunches. I heard you, Dave. I heard Dave text you about that. I tried calling my school, and they said they would call me back, but haven't. Send me Dave's number. Thanks, Pamela. All right, Pamela, here's the deal. These texts pile up too, so when I get done, I get rid of them. And I apparently got rid of Dave's text with that number. So I'm appealing to Dave right now to please send me the number so that I in turn can send it to Pamela. Again, my number is 952-522-1399. Dave, if you still have a number that Pam can call, please text it back to me. I apologize for my screw up, but that's what it was. So this next one says, is Trump making us crazy so they can move forward on Project 2025? I don't know. I think that's maybe a byproduct. Donald Trump is making us crazy because he's a chaotic idiot. If it helps them with Project 2025, that's just icing on the cake. I don't think he's specifically doing it for that because Donald Trump doesn't do anything specifically unless it's for himself. He's not that structured. He isn't good with strategies. So, in a way, yes. In a way, no. All right. The next one says, Hi, Mike. I'm listening to your Substack live with TJ. You were saying that you wish the Democrats would stand up like MTG. It has come from a MAGA, or they will blow it off as a hoax or leftist. Trump derangement syndrome. The only reason she came around is because the cuts to the ACA are affecting her grown children. She admitted that she didn't read the big, beautiful bill, or she wouldn't have voted for it. My name is Lonnie. I go by Untethered Gypsy online. Well, since you wrote that text, of course, now we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene has decided she's going to resign on January 5th. And what is the strategy behind that? Well, honestly, I think there's a couple strategies. First of all, she's made a ton of money with insider trading, like a lot of the politicians in Congress have. It's funny, the day she chose to resign was a couple of days after the moment when she became eligible for her pension. To think that Marjorie Taylor Greene did this for anything other than herself. I mean, that's the thing. She hates Donald Trump. She's pushing back against Donald Trump. A lot of people will think, oh, she's our buddy. She's our friend now. No, she's not. She's still dumb. She's still evil. She's still racist. She's still all those things. She's trying to put herself in a good situation. She knows that the Republicans are going to crash and burn. They're going to implode. And I think she's trying to step away from it before that happens. It's weird with all the Republicans in Congress that Marjorie Taylor Greene is the first one to realize this. I've been saying this is going to happen for some time, and it will ultimately happen. It's just taking way longer than I expected. All right, the next one says, hey, Mike, it's Joe. GI Gelfrey lives on TikTok. The Senate already passed. Something is fishy. Um, um, he's talking about the Epstein files passing so quickly in the Senate. And immediately you would think there's something fishy. That's what I thought. There's some game going on here. I think more of what it is, it's a signal to Donald Trump that the Republicans are stepping back. I think it also has to do with that 90% of this country want the files released. And if they went against those folks, it would look like they are pandering to or supporting a pedophile, frankly. And that just wasn't going to work. No matter what Donald Trump might do um, to threaten him, they're more afraid of the constituents at this point, this close to a midterm. All right. Hello, Boomer. I have a question that I think Eric or TJ may be able to answer. Trump has been threatening to move FIFA out of Portland and the Summer Olympics out of LA. Does he even have the authority to do that? I know cities and countries bid to host games, and there are committees that decide who wins their bid. So is Trump talking out his dirty ass diaper? Paula. Yeah, he's talking out his diaper. He's he doesn't have the authority to do that. I mean, I'm sure he could put some pressure on these organizations and kind of coerce them into doing something, but that would take a lot. It would cost a lot of people money in this country, and there would be a lot of wealthy folks fucking pissed. All right, the next one says, good evening, Boomer. Well, things went pretty well for the release of the files. I won't be surprised to hear Trumpty Dumpty had a massive stroke through the night. Unfortunately, he didn't. He came out and said he thinks the Republicans should vote for the bill, but there's no way in hell he thought they'd actually all do it, and it passed with unanimous consent in the Senate. It'll be entertaining for us to watch outside of the U.S. to watch him try to wriggle off this hook. Yeah, I think in addition to that, he knew it was going to go wrong for him, so he thought he better say, "Oh yeah, I wanted it to do that," so he could save some face. That was all he had left. But you're right. I don't think ultimately he thought that they would ever vote against him, and that's why I say this is a red flag for Donald Trump and other Republicans. This is the first time they've stepped back from Donald Trump. First time in all these years. That is definitely a sign, an ominous sign. Hi, Mike. I listen to you and the gang every night. I am Jim from Seattle, testing your now new texting approach. I'm wondering what asshole at Trump's agenda is with now wanting to release it. Is the other investigations on the Democrats something that can stop the release? Yeah, you know, we're all wondering about what the angle is. Um, I think it just got away from him. He didn't know um, what else to do. He couldn't control it, so he just backed away from it. Let's see here. Somebody said, "Where are you going live tonight? Haven't you heard about the B-52 or B-52 bombers headed for Venezuela?" Yeah, I heard those stories, but I don't know much about it. I don't know if it's real. I would think that would be a big news story if we were dropping bombs on Venezuela. I've heard a few people say, "Oh, this is going on, that's going on," but I haven't heard them from good authorities. So I'm not going to start uh, yakking about that until I know what's really going on. Let's see here. All right. Hello, Mike. I hope this finds you and yours well. My sister Cheryl and I are avid listeners. I do that. I do know that. Um, I never miss a pod, and also the shorts. Cheryl works and always catches your short pods. Love listening to you and your guest. There is so much to talk about, and I'm involved in our local party and do all I can. Um, Due to all our calls, no gerrymandering here, and we keep our blue districts. Um, Getting involved does make a difference. I've shared your pods with tons of people. We are making Trumplafucks a household word. My sister Cheryl got people in Hawaii saying it. Keep on doing the outstanding job. Everyone in the media could take a lesson from you, buddy. You and yours have a safe and great day, Steve. Steve and Cheryl, they are folks that comment a lot on the podcast, especially, and they seem like great people. Cheryl sent me some stuff for my new grandson and such. Great people. Thank you for listening, and thank you very much for all the support. Um, hey, Mike, wanted to know what you think about MTG's retirement in January of next year. Rumors are she's doing all this acting to become Vance's vice president. What do you think? Seems strange to me. Um, yeah, I don't think that's the truth. I think it's more likely that she may end up running for governor of Georgia. Some people even think she might run for president, which I find absolutely fucking hysterical. She'd have no chance at all. I don't even know that she would have a chance to make the governorship. That might be a good opportunity for a Democrat to win there. That would be fucking nice. All right, I've got somebody that sends me links to threads and no text along with it. Two things. If you've got something you're sending me, tell me why you're interested in this. And moreover, don't send me links to threads. It's not that I don't like threads, but I used to have a Facebook under the Rational Boomer, and they banned me for life. TikTok hasn't, YouTube hasn't, Substack hasn't, but Facebook did. And when you get banned on Facebook, you get banned on Instagram and banned on Threads too. So I don't have a Threads account, so I can click it and I can't see it. So if you're going to send me something, send it a different way or send it from a different source. Okay, Hodiner here. He's a gentleman that we see show up in the comments a lot as well. This MTG thing was definitely not on my bingo card. I find this odd, but that it is usually an indication of an unusual explanation to come. My initial thoughts are that maybe Trump is going down hard. She knows it, but doesn't want enemies with Trump lovers be forced to defend or get backlash for a pedophile. Yeah, you might have some good point there. Hodiner here again. Mike, you and Ed spoke about the incompetence in the administration, acknowledged. But isn't incompetence the point here? Isn't this all supposed to drive folks to mistrust government and break institutions? Yeah, maybe to a certain extent. I think Donald Trump is not smart enough to use a strategy like that. But the people around him are smart enough and they know how to manipulate Donald Trump. So I guess indirectly that's true. Do you think MTG will read off names in the chamber on her last day and then mic drop? Um, I don't know. MTG has offered to read off the names of the men and women in the Epstein files if they aren't released. So has Representative Massey. Um, it may come before she leaves office. And here's the thing: for people to understand the importance of that, a representative can stand on the House floor and say virtually anything, read virtually anything without threat of a lawsuit. It's illegal to sue anybody who says something on the House floor. So it's conceivable that Massey or MTG or MGT or whatever the fuck her name, MTG, um, if they read the names of the people that are involved in the Epstein thing, they can do it, and there's nothing anybody can do to them as far as suing them. Now, as far as physical attacks, that's a whole different story. Here's something interesting that I think came out today. Uh, the note to me is this is our tan suit moment, and it shows a picture of Donald Trump today with something maroon around his neck, like a scarf or a dickie or something. And they're suggesting this is our tan suit moment because it's a little weird, little weird. I don't know. You know, Donnie's doing so many fucked up things. He's got a catheter in his pants and shit in his diaper. There's a lot of things that are worse than tan suits. Hey, Mike, what do you think about this guy? What this guy is saying? I feel like he does the people he's talking about all leads back to Putin. And also, long as that bastard is breathing, he will be a cancer on our country. Um, this this gentleman sent me a TikTok from Angry Male Vet, and the thing is, I haven't listened to the whole TikTok, but I know the guy. I mean, I don't know him, but I know who he is, and I listen to him, and I think he's a pretty smart guy, and I think he's pretty reasonable about trying to be as honest and accurate as possible. So I would take some of the things he does to heart. All right, the last text message. Um, okay, these are a few that were sent today from the same Oh, Jesus Christ, they sent me a lot. Hi, Boomer. I think the Republicans will lose the majority before the midterms. MTG has started something. Jackie from Brocass, Alabama. Yeah, Jackie, you might be right. They're very close at this point. We've got a special election in December. We could be within one or two seats, and if some other people are getting scared or angry in the Republican Party, some of them could take Marjorie Taylor Greene's lead and do the same thing. That's distinctly possible. Marjorie MTG is going to hurt Trump more out of Congress than if she stayed in control in that controlled group. She don't realize that she was just a facelift away from a cabinet job. Trump's vain ass felt she wasn't pretty enough. She's a butch blonde. Yeah, there's something to be said about that. Do you think that MTG would be resigning if Charlie Kirk was not assassinated? She knows how dangerous her party is. She's not afraid of Democrats. Well, what you're saying there basically is do you think she's running because she's in fear of her life? Um, maybe partially, but I think there's more to it. It's about self enriching, it's about creating a situation and a perception that's going to benefit her. And frankly, I don't know that she's as fearful of retribution from Trumplafox. In fact, now that she's leaving, she might relieve herself of some of that, as some of the Republicans are getting what they want that she's gone. Um, but yeah, I think the whole fear tactics is pretty substantial. We know that some of the people that have been talked about, Democrats wise, are getting bomb threats and all kinds of shit like that. These are meat eating, mouth breathing, angry, dumb motherfuckers. That's who they are. And so I'm sure there's a lot of threats. All right, this is an interesting one that just came out today. Rubio just admitted that Russia wrote the peace plan to Ukraine, translated to English. The word is it is a Russian wish list. I'm not surprised. Well, that's how it's always been. Donald Trump keeps telling us that he's a master negotiator. And in this situation, he said he could end the war in 24 hours with a phone call. Well, we're 11 months into it right now. Isn't that interesting? And they're still at war. Donald Trump didn't negotiate anything. He just said, Vladimir, what do you need? Vladimir wrote it out. He's handing it to Zelensky and telling him, take it or leave it. And he better have an answer by Thursday. Zelensky's not going to take what Vladimir Putin wants. If this is a negotiation, one side doesn't get everything they want. That's the whole point of a negotiation. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by that. That's going to piss off a lot of people. Apparently, it pissed off Lindsey Graham and some other Republicans as well. Donald Trump's just not doing well with his own party, let alone the Democrats. And the last text says, did you see Hegseth went to Mexico and posted no trespassing signs and found out the island belongs to Mexico? The military took them down. Now he's saying it was an accident. What a fucking dumbass. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. As I understand it, some military folks went onto a beach in Mexico, whether it was an island or the mainland. They put up signs saying restricted area, and then they put the U.S. Department of Defense or War or whatever they're using right now. And immediately it caused some concerns because, well, it happened to be in Mexico. And what the U.S. military says is, oh, we thought it was on the other side of the border in the United States. Whoopsie. Now we've got an international incident when we've got U.S. military storming the beaches of a Mexican beach. Really stupid, really stupid. And here's the ironic thing. These people are so concerned about the border. And in this instance, they prove to us they don't even know where the fucking border is. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, they did that. They'll continue to fuck up as long as Pete Hegseth is in charge of the Defense Department. Now I'm going to talk for a couple seconds here, a couple minutes, and then I'm going to give you the number again. So if you don't have a pen, get a pen, write it down, write it on your hand, whatever. Feel free to make your questions and comments available to me by texting them to me, and I'll give you the number in just a few minutes. We're going to be wrapping things up for this text message feature. It's not really a Rational Boomer podcast, but I like doing these sorts of things because it doesn't take a long time to do that. It helps me to interact with those listening, and I think that's absolutely crucial. I know when I do the lives on Substack or TikTok or YouTube for that matter, the fact that people show up and ask questions and make comments is very important to what we're trying to do here. It's much more interesting when you folks get to be involved, ask the questions, make the comments, what have you. So I encourage you, and I appreciate it when you participate as you did with the text messages on the lives and such, and the comments on the TikToks as well. That's very valuable too, and I appreciate all the good wishes and all the support. You know, when I started this, it's the 22nd of November in 2025. I started doing TikToks. I started doing Rational Boomer stuff almost exactly 5 years ago today. I think it was the 20th of November in 2020, coming out of COVID and all that shit, just after the election. And I've been doing it every day for 5 years. And when I started doing it, I thought, maybe if I get a couple thousand followers, maybe then I can do a podcast and maybe somebody will actually listen to it. And And I'm appreciative of the fact that it's gone farther than that. I have more listeners, more followers, more peers, whatever you want to call them, than I ever imagined. And I do appreciate that because I can sit here and talk forever and not do anything. And frankly, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, doesn't really accomplish anything unless there are people coming to listen and then relaying message to other people, and then they relay messages to other people, and we start kind of a groundswell, grassroots type of thing. So it's been 5 years, and people say, "Well, how'd you get so many followers over 5 years?" It's not because I'm pretty. It's not because I'm talented. It's not because I'm really smart. It's none of those things. It's because I'm here every day saying similar things in a similar vein, and people become accustomed to somebody who's there for them every day. I knew that's what I would have to do in order to have any success with TikTok or the podcast and such. And while I'm a retired guy, this is kind of my job, coming here talking about what's going on. But in the same vein, I will say this: it's not drudgery, it's not a chore to do this. I enjoy doing it. It's very cathartic because I get this off my chest. All these things I would be talking about anyway to friends and neighbors and family and stuff. And sometimes they get sick of it. They can't turn me off necessarily. So to be able to have this outlet to talk to you folks and give you this information to do with what you will is incredibly valuable mentally and cathartically. And you know what else it does? I'm 65 years old. I used to be in radio for years, and I did a pretty good job with it. But when you're doing something, whether you're playing music or acting or doing what I'm doing here, you can lose your chops, you know? You can slow down or stumble more. So to be able to do this every day and have listeners is very valuable to keeping this old mind working and active and straight. So for that, I appreciate you. Anyway, that is the text show. And as I told you, I'm going to give you the number again. Hopefully, you grabbed a pen. The number to text questions or comments is 952 522 1399. 952 522 1319. All right, that's it for this one. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you again soon.